If you think of yourself as flexible, fluid, creative, clever, and those things that make you good at what you do, are also keeping you second guessing, reinventing, and never quite fully landing, well, you might be a shapeshifter. The shapeshifter is the nervous system that is organized for adaptation. It yields instead of braces, and it stays mobile instead of rigid. Think water flowing around boulders. It tracks tone, timing, energy, and subtle shifts before they're articulated so that it can shift. And the shapeshifter skin doesn't meet pressure with force, it meets it with movement. That's why so many people in shapeshifter skin also find themselves in creative work, coaching, leadership, innovation, and relational fields, because they're very good at not imposing form. They find it as they move. So when things change, they don't freeze up, they move. When something stops working, they don't cling to it, they adjust. When a strategy, an offer, a relationship, or even a sense of direction starts to wobble, they don't panic, they just reinvent. And that's not accidental. It's not just creativity or clever branding instinct. It's how their literal nervous system works. Before we go any further, there's an orientation that matters, because insight and what I have to share next won't land the same way in every body, especially under pressure. So when pressure rises, the nervous system tends to organize itself in one of four primary ways. Some bodies resist and brace, that's the warrior. Some yield and adapt, that's the shapeshifter and what we're talking about today. Some narrow and orient, as the sage. Some widen and sense, that's the asset. These aren't personalities, they're somatic response strategies. So knowing your skin doesn't label you or limit in any way. It tells you how your nervous system responds when challenged. So pause the video, go down and take the quiz first. Link is in the description. You'll receive your initial description and a free ebook of the skins. Then come back to this video and everything I'll share with you next, especially for shapeshifters, will make a lot more sense. All right, for those in the shapeshifter skin, adaptation is not just a skill. It's a nervous system advantage. It's what allows them to sense shifts, reinvent, and stay relevant in an ever-changing world. But when that same adaptability lacks center or capacity, it turns into a loop of fear, second guessing, and continual reinvention trying to stay ahead, where motion starts to replace authorship and then creativity never really fully consolidates. For a shapeshifter, their work in development is not actually becoming less fluid. It's learning how to stay coherent within themselves while they change shape. And that's the paradox, because most shapeshifters are living inside of adaptation without language for it. On the outside, it looks creative, it looks like responsiveness, it looks like growth. But internally, something else is happening. Their adaptability doesn't feel strategic to them. It feels limiting because it's somatic. But internally, something else is happening for them. Their adaptability isn't mental or strategic, it's somatic and felt. Their creative reinvention isn't coming from mindset or intelligence, at least not the intellectual kind. It's coming from how the nervous system organizes under pressure. The shapeshifter yields, adapts, often before they're consciously decided to. That's why if you're a shapeshifter, you might hear yourself say things like, I don't know why I changed it. It just felt off. Or I couldn't stay with it once the energy shifted. Or I need to rework it so it stays alive. These aren't failures of discipline. They're expressions of a system that's designed to stay in motion. And it's also why shapeshifters are so very good at what they do in pivots. They have relational intelligence and that ability to pivot quickly, especially in volatile environments. This is what allows them to negotiate with humans, to create work that's alive instead of formulaic, to innovate instead of replicate. People often feel seen by a shapeshifter. Systems feel workable and doable around them. And that's real capacity. But it's also where the cost begins to appear. So when pressure becomes sustained, not dramatic or acute always, just ongoing, continual pressure and heaviness, adaptation can start to turn reflexive. If this is you, you might pivot yet again instead of sticking with your plan. You might research and try to find another way. You hold an ever-growing list of unmade decisions because to decide feels heavy. You refine endlessly. You reinvent before anything really has a chance to stabilize. If you're in business, a launch might not land, and so you reframe it. A piece of work doesn't feel perfect yet, so you revise it again. A direction loses charge and interest, so you start exploring another one. Each move makes complete sense. Each move is intelligent. But over time, this constant movement leads to creative burnout, reinvention, exhaustion, and trying to manage too many threads at once. It's the chaos loop. Ideas keep coming, versions keep changing, but nothing quite gels into maturity or stability. This is what happens when fluidity doesn't have its structure or a stable center. Fluidity without a center disperses power. And this is where many shapeshifters start to doubt themselves. It isn't because they're failing, but it's because they're tired of never arriving. They might start to ask, why can't I stick with anything? Or why does clarity feel always just out of reach? Why does everything feel alive and until I'm in it and then it feels unstable or dead? The answer is not more discipline or forcing arbitrary commitment. It's not becoming less creative. The real evolution for a shapeshifter is learning to stay with your center, even when you're in adaptive motion. Mastery isn't stopping adaptation. It's letting adaptation come from a stable core. So movement becomes choice, not simply relief. That is the developmental task of the shapeshifter. To stay fluid without disappearing, to change shape without abandoning yourself, to move from coherence, oneness of body and mind and energy instead of away from pressure reflexively. I'm not going to give you something to fix here necessarily, just notice. My hope is that all of this lands as very good news for you as a shapeshifter, because the point for you is not to slow down, it's not to commit harder, it's not even to stop reinventing. The point is just this. Are you adapting because you're truly responding to the conditions, or because you're trying to escape pressure? That question alone can start to reorganize the way you orient around yourself. Because when you, as a shapeshifter, learn to strengthen your structure before you move, your adaptability stops scattering your power and it starts compounding it. You become adaptive, but also steady. Creative, but with a clear directionality to what you create. Your creative flow and vitality become a river with banks, harnessed powerfully versus all over the place. If this landed and you want to take it deeper, again, start with our orientation ebook. The Somatic Skins Quiz will show you how your pressure organizes in your body, and that alone can change how you create, decide, and lead. After that, if you want more depth and structure, the books, links are in the description below, go much further into this work, especially for people whose creativity is their livelihood. And then, if you want even more, consider joining us for a season in the Prestige, where we literally train this and more. Reach out directly. We love this work and the impact that it has. Since you made it this far, sincere thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. If you receive some value, please do like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And if you want to keep the discussion going with me, share in the comments. Where do you see adaptability helping you, and where do you see it costing you, especially if you're a shapeshifter? Until next time.